Hi everyone. So I'm sitting on the floor today because I didn't feel like I had time to make my bed. Today I'm going to be giving you guys 3 tips to world building. For the sake of this video, I want you to imagine with me that world building is like building a house that's composed of 3 parts. First, you have the foundation. Secondly, you have the walls. And third, you have the roof. Every part is essential, and when put together with care, it creates a beautiful home for someone to live in. In this case, a home for your world and your characters to live in. Every house needs a good foundation, just like how every story needs a good setting. That brings us to step number 1, which is building your foundation. In other words, finding your setting. The setting is the foundation upon which you build your world. Without a clear setting, the rest of your world will crumble. You may be asking yourself, what's a setting? Here's the definition that Google gave me. In literature, setting refers to the time and place where a story takes place, encompassing the geographical location, historical period, social context, and even the weather conditions that form the backdrop of a narrative. Essentially, it's the environment in which your story takes place, or unfolds. To build your foundation, you must ask yourself a few questions. Figure out what you want your foundation to be made of. Is your foundation composed of mud and bricks, or is it built with stones and sticks? What I mean by this is ask yourself questions related to your story. I always ask myself questions like, is my world set in the future or in the past? What is the climate of my world? What kind of climate are my characters living in? Because I think that really affects culture and really affects what your characters wear, how they dress. I think it affects what they eat, how they act, how they talk. So ask yourself those questions. Come to know every aspect of your world as if you were living in it yourself. Making sure that there are no cracks in your foundation, no cracks in your setting, and essentially no cracks in your story will greatly help you in the future as you're trying to write and get to know your characters. This ensures that your house will not fall apart. Without walls, a house is just a platform, unidentifiable and unprotected. Just like how every house needs good, secure, strong walls and structure, that's the same for every story. A story needs structure and clear vision in order for you as the writer to write it. That brings us to step number 2, which is visualizing your story. With no clear vision, your world will fall apart. So how do we visualize our story? And how do we visualize the world that it takes place in? There are so many ways that you can visualize the world that you are creating. Here's a couple of the ways that I do it. Number 1, I make Pinterest boards. I use Pinterest 24/7. That's probably the app that has most of my screen time, Pinterest, because every time I get a new story idea, I run straight to the app. I go and I research all different kinds of pictures, pull them into my Pinterest board for my story idea. And in Pinterest, you can create little sections in all of your boards. So you can separate your characters and the vision boards that you have for them into individual sections so that you can equally visualize what your characters look like just as much as you can visualize the world that you're building. Another thing that I do is I draw. Now, I'm not saying I have any artistic ability. In fact, I probably don't have as much as I would like, but I do try to draw out things that are in my mind to help me visualize and really get in the mood of the story. What I've done is I've often drawn star charts for my current work in progress because the stars are heavily involved in the plot. I've drawn out maps, I've created languages and written the language and pictures of how I think they would dress and artifacts that I need to know how to work, and all of these different diagrams and things that I've drawn out to help me visualize how the world works. Utilize that, and you don't have to have a bit of artistic ability. Just draw. It's not like anyone else is gonna see the stuff that you're drawing unless you show it to them. But just draw it out. It's super fun, and don't put too much pressure on yourself to make it be perfect or to make it be like Frostbite Studios drew it, even though I wish Frostbite Studios would draw some of my stuff. Anyway, yeah, don't be afraid to create and draw what's in your head because it can come out looking amazing and you'll have a lot of fun with it, I promise. The third thing that I do is I build a playlist. I scour the internet, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, any type of music apps. I dive into them and look for songs that I think would match the vibe of my world that I'm creating. This helps me get into the right headspace. It honestly helps me write in the vibe that I think the characters are living in. Music has a huge impact on our imagination and our thought process. So if you listen to music that fits the vibe of your world, you'll naturally begin to write in that same vibe. Put your mind in the same space as the minds of your characters. For example, I have an entire fantasy desert playlist for my current work in progress, and I listen to it before and during my writing sessions. I found this super helpful to my world building and to just creating characters in general, and it's super fun to just build playlists that you think your characters would go with. You know, I'll listen to the same song like 5 times because I just imagine my character dancing to this. It's super fun. Definitely create a playlist. Every house needs a roof that protects it from the outside elements, whether it's rain, wind, lightning, or bugs. The roof is what protects the house and sets it apart from the rest of the world. Just like how every house needs a good sturdy roof to protect it, so does every story need something that sets it apart and protects it from the rest of the world. But how do we set our story apart? That brings us to step number 3, which is feeding our imagination. Our imaginations are limitless things. I mean, limitless if you even think about it. And in order to cap off our story, to separate it from the millions upon millions of other books and stories that are in this world and in the book community, we have to feed our imaginations. How do you feed your mind? It doesn't have a mouth. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, feed my imagination? Well, educate it. Learn something, research, go into the endless, untapped sources of information that we have available to us in Google or libraries, history books, whatever it is. In order to feed your imagination, you need to educate yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking. I went to school. That doesn't sound fun. I literally learn history every day of the week. Yeah, but do it in your own time. It's so much more fun when you grab a history book and just dive into the ancient Greeks and like what they did, the types of competitions they had, the arenas and the gladiators, their mythology, their religion, all of these different things that they believed in. It's so cool to dive into that and to learn about it. Not just ancient Greeks, but maybe even like history in the Bible, stories in the Bible that you can draw off of. Maybe just like World War II history, whatever type of history you want to learn, go learn it. Learn how to do something. That's the cool thing about being writers, is that we get the awesome chance of living in our worlds that we create and living vicariously through the lives of our characters. So if you want to do that, you need to educate yourself and feed your imagination so that it sets your story apart from everything else because it's uniquely you. Read up on history. Learn some science. Learn how the Romans viewed hygiene or a long-forgotten war in the Middle East. Or maybe how the ancient Greeks first started the Olympic Games. Learn how plants grow and how electricity works. Learn all these different things. Never stop learning, because as writers, that's literally what we do. We learn so that other people can experience the things that we've researched. You see, the great thing about living in a time when information is available at the tap of the button is that we live in a time when information is available at the tap of a button. Utilize the internet. Research, dude. Feed your imagination. It's starving. Don't be afraid to draw from the outside world. Don't be afraid of that crazy idea, because it may just be the roof of your house that sets your story apart. And hey, if your roof looks just like your neighbor's, who cares? It's uniquely yours. So I will say, feed your imagination, but don't stress if you're eating the same meal as 30 other people. You know what I'm saying? These are metaphors here, guys. I hope you're following along. So, reach for the sky, or for the roof, I guess. I hope y'all enjoyed that video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, let me know in the comments, because if y'all want to see more of these writing tip type videos, I would be more than happy to make them, even though I'm inexperienced and not published and just on the struggle bus with the rest of you guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share this video with all of your friends. all of your writer friends who are maybe wanting to world build but just don't know when to start. That's all I got for you guys today. Just know that I love you, Jesus loves you more. Have a blessed day. Guys, I just want to preface this by saying I wanted to film this with my really nice camera and it was coming out so good, but it keeps showing up error and I'm freaking out. So maybe the next video will have really good quality. Every house needs a roof that protects from the elements. Rain, wind, lightning, bugs. It's what's I kind of want to show y'all what my room looks like. But I kind of also don't. I'll just show you. If I can get my phone out. Oh wow, the lighting is so much better here. It was gonna be good. That's my bookshelf. Those are my books. Yep, I found a spider in there the other night. I will show y'all the spider. Come on, little spider. Come on. Come out. Oh, God. It's crawling. In order to feed your imagination, without walls, a house is just a platform. And my feet really hurt because I'm sitting on the floor. And here's a cool tip. In Pictrix, why can't I speak? This is a continual problem, guys. In Pinterest, but how do we set our story apart? Good question, you. What am I doing with my life? Which is setting your story. Oop, nope, that's wrong. Honestly, helps me write. Every time I have a story idea that I'm seriously considering, don't you want to stop Snape from getting that stone? Foundation, you first have to figure out what you want it to be made of. You need to ask yourself ask yourself a few questions. Is my foundation composed of mud and bricks, or is it built with stones and sticks? Stone and bricks, or is it made of mud and sticks? No, I like the mud and bricks, stones and sticks because it's double alliteration. This is how this. I also typed all of this out and I'm doing it on like low battery, so that's just great. Here we go. Where did I leave off? To build your foundation, you must ask yourself a few questions. Is your foundation composed of mud and bricks, or is it built with stones and sticks? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's not true, they do hurt. Okay. Build your foundation, you must ask yourself a couple questions. Is my house